take them all out for the big bounce off the bottom. That's a big shakeout. This is what happens to the bulls when they got that exuberance.
I can't even keep up with the tick-tock.
All right, we're in bear market. We told you people not to get involved in that. Whoa, look at that.
Good evening, stock traders, and welcome to Stock Traders Talk Radio here on Sunday night, January the 15th, 2012. I am your host, as usual, STT. Joining me on the program tonight, we have Hoss.
How's it going tonight, Mike?
Fantastic, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank you for taking me away from having to watch the New York Giants.
And why would that be a good thing?
I'm just a major anti-New York Giants person. Us in the Midwest, we don't like those Easterners, bud.
Eastern?
Well, so now it's the whole Easterner thing, not just the Giants, it's anything Eastern.
It's something with your accents.
The accent, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, joining us on the radio program tonight, we have Nickel.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Not much, sir. What's going on by you?
Not too much. I was watching the game, keyword was. But, hey, here we are, and looking good.
Nice. Very, very nice. Also, joining us on the program tonight is Cop.
Hey, STT, a.k.a. Mike. What's going on, gentlemen?
I am currently doing a stock radio show and kind of watching the Giant game.
I'm surprised you went away from the Giant game.
No, I got it on the big screen in front of me. It's okay. Just no sound. No sound. But I don't need sound when I see the Giants jumping up and down. I know things are good.
Don't get too distracted. We need you for the show tonight, bud.
I will do my best to stay here and stay on point for tonight's show. Now, guys, I know this is kind of weird, okay? Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. Then the markets are closed. So, here at Stock Traders Talk Radio, we're going out on a limb. By Tuesday, we will have two picks out there. And we're going to see how both do on the same day.
Oh, wow.
That should be interesting to see how that all works out. The two for Tuesday here at Stock Traders Talk Radio. Cop, are you excited about that?
Yes, I am. Big time.
Are you very, very, very excited?
Well, I mean, I got to get my streak back again.
Okay. It should be interesting. Should be very interesting to see. Now, tonight's Stock Spotlight. Let's get the intro to the segment.
The Stock Spotlight.
There's something so wrong with you.
New surprises every show, isn't there?
Wow. I think we can do that next time.
Tonight's, well, you have the choice of this, too, if you wanted it.
The Stock Spotlight.
Yeah, I could have went with that one, too. I had a couple to choose from. I chose the fire engine coming through the town.
I think we should find those.
It was.
You might have the siren going off, and then at the end, you will say the Stock Spotlight. I like that.
Well, I had it in the middle. I guess you weren't listening very closely.
Get back to work.
Well, you got me way off track. Way off track. Tonight's Stock Spotlight is ticker symbol AAVG. That's Apple, Victory, Green.
Wow.
That's hardcore right there.
I mean, I had to come out with green's nice. I like it. I like the way that all flows. Victory, then green.
I hope it stands for a Green Bay victory then.
No.
Oh.
No. Strictly talking about the stock there, trying to root it on a little bit,
Okay.
And remember, just to start off, before we, as we start the DD and all that good stuff, I want to quote a very famous person about AAVG. If it starts with an A, it's awesome. If it starts with two A's, you can't lose. Remember that quote?
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to
Some
hear.
guy Mike said it like last week.
That's right. Love my A stocks. Love them.
You have just a giant list of all stocks that start with an A?
No, I don't need a giant list.
Okay.
I look for the ones that kind of bottom out, slowly get in, and watch it go back up.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Okay, let's get started for real now. Come on. Let's see. I'm going to start with nickel tonight. Nickel!
What's going on, Mike? Okay, listen, AAVG, Avistar Aviation Group. The main business plan for Avistar is to acquire, consolidate and grow business in the aviation industry. I talked to Clay several times. Every time I've talked to him, he seems to always be on the prowl, on the lookout for, the next acquisition for him. They're also working on their DOT going down to Cuba, which is a very big deal. Anybody in the aviation world knows that we just actually started flying down there again in September with the first flight out to Cuba. The background behind, DOT and Cuba with Avistar is actually pretty substantial for them because what they have going is, a one-way going to and from Cuba, which nobody else currently is doing much of right now. So they're trying to pinpoint, a new area for them to go. Bermuda, they're back and forth to Bermuda all the time. They've already been to those locations out there. In fact, they have packages that, you prepay for like 20 round trips. And I believe they're going to probably be doing the same thing with the DOT to Cuba once the DOT gets approved. That's going to solicit them to basically a whole new branch of their business, which is going to bring in massive amounts of money for them. The locations that they deal with in the Bahamas are, your normal main players, the main islands. Excuse me. They have.
Did we lose Nickel?
Sounds like that's probably he's probably fading in and out there for a second. No, I'll go ahead and pick it up where he kind of left off on that. I mean, the big thing is going through a lot of the DD that they actually have is, the company over the course of the last, let's go with, I don't know, probably the last year maybe, somewhere around there. Basically your share structure is kind of increased. So there's definitely some dilution in the past and those type of things. And a lot of people consider that negative and all those type of things. Sure, when you're in the process. However, the stock was much higher. So, I mean, the key thing to know with that is, shares outstanding, I believe, 490,000, and authorized shares. 490 million, yeah. Thanks for that. 490,000 would be pretty damn good, wouldn't it? And there's 25 people that own the float.
The great thing about the share structure is, like you said, the authorized is 500 million, but the float is 433. Essentially they're maxed out, so they can't even dilute on you anymore at this point in time. In the direction that they're going. They really have the potential here to really rocket this stock with the right direction. The one thing that everybody, if you read all the boards out there, the DOT and the Cuba deal, everybody's talking about it. A lot of people are bashing the company at the same time because they want this information to come out on the DOT. However, from the aviation side, let's hold tight on AAVG, essentially. when you start dealing with the DOT, when you start doing the paperwork, it's not a simple overnight process. Investors need to understand that this could take 2, 3, 4 months to get the full approval. Once the initial statement goes out, the DOT is going to look at it. If you have one mistake, they don't call you up and say, "Oh, hey, sir, you have one mistake." Nope. They mail it back to you. They do everything snail mail. So it's not like they're picking up phones. It's not like they're doing anything other than normal back and forth paper. They send it back to you. You got to correct it. When you get it corrected, you send it back to them. It doesn't mean you're number one on their list anymore. And then let's go into once the DOT gets approved. They also have to get approved in this whole objective routes of flight. That's also another approval. You just don't get in your airplane and say, "Hey, I'm flying to Cuba today." You have to get these what we call, from an air traffic control standpoint, they're called CAN routes. They're pre-established routes going to and from a location. These things take time. They are doing the right directions. They're going the right directions. However, it's not an overnight process. So investors do need to definitely take their time with the company on this route, because once they get it and they get all these approvals, the money flow will definitely come back into this company. But until that happens, you are going to see information updates, and investors get very antsy. They want everything today.
But I mean, hey, Nickel, just on the same side though, I went through and I was DDing this all over the place. I mean, they did the acquisition of Twin Air Calypso with limited with that money. You know what I mean? So they brought assets and stuff like that into the company during this growth stage.
Exactly, and I would anticipate seeing more acquisitions coming in. However, I think that's further down the road. I think you're going to see a lot of different directions in this company over the next year.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I mean, I did a lot of DD on the news and things like that, and for the sake of arguments, I think we got the share structure nailed down, even though it's 490,000. You guys don't find that funny anymore. I do. My point being, leave me out there. That's great. That's beautiful. Pauses in the air. That's beautiful. Now, I mean, it's the increasing the OS and increasing the AS and those type of things, you're locked at this stage. So the shareholders that are in, you definitely have that stability stage. And when you look at the chart, and I know we'll get to the chart a little bit, you're seeing that accumulation go because of that. So you're not, it's no longer dive bombing like it did. I mean, it screamed up, way back when, got up there pretty good, and then had that steady decline during that time where they were raising those funds to do these acquisitions and those type of things. I mean, that's how I read it. I think we all know that, the companies at this stage you don't normally find a company like this in the OTC that has tangible assets, tangible things that they're doing in an actual business plan. I mean, this is the company's pretty much a rarity in my eyes to a certain degree.
Oh, for sure. The company itself is doing what it needs to do. I mean, you have to spend money to make money, regardless of whether you're an over-the-counter company or a big board stock. But the main thing that, kind of crashed the share price was just some toxic financing that they did with a couple of groups, Redwood and Asher. And basically those guys have converted most of their notes. So at this point, we should be seeing a steady uptrend going forward here with minimal to no dilution.
I'm almost positive. I think you're right on that, too. I think Asher is 100% at this point out of the picture. I'd have to touch base again with
No, there was on the December 12th news release. They had that. I think it said here. Let me pull that up.
Yeah, Asher is out of the picture. I think it's just Redwood at this point, which is a huge perk for the stock and the company to be almost out of their toxic financing.
Yeah, the December 12th, the convertible notes. Avstar is pleased to announce that the last of the convertible notes held by Asher Enterprises have been retired. So I mean that and the chart shows that everything that's happening with the stock, when you look at it, it started in that upward climb, where it looks like, you had the 0.0010, 0.011, and, trend line is up. Right now you're at the 20, so you can actually see that pretty good. And quite frankly, they might have diluted this too far. Asher probably could have did much better with their money if they would have, set this off for a little while. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
The key thing I want to key in on, and just because it's really messing me up, is the December 12th press release. Did you guys read that? I know you guys did, but that's the one where, and I'm just going to kind of note on this, and I know when we talk OTC company, you got press release all over the place. You can concentrate on many different aspects to it, but the side of this really, really intrigued me to where it got me. I don't normally get excited over OTC companies, but I kind of did over this one, and let me just give you what it is. They announced the wholly owned subsidiary, Twin Air Calypso Limited, TACL, is forming an alliance with Berry Aviation, Inc. Okay? Now, I know, especially you, Nickel, the aviation world pretty damn good. Berry Aviation's a pretty damn big deal.
Very big deal. 20 planes, based out of Texas. They are all over. Anybody who did any DD on this company knows that they are just not here locally. They are all over. They're huge.
So check this out. So this is what I do. All right, and I'm going to read the rest of this, and then we'll carry into that. All right, this alliance will make available TACL larger aircraft with expanded capabilities. These aircraft will be used to increase both our freight and passenger services to Bahamas, as well as new destinations in the Caribbean Basin. Berry Aviation began operations in 1983, goes in Austin, Texas, all that other stuff. And I'm pleased to inform our customers and stockholders of a very significant event in the expansion of Twin Air Calypso. Now, here's the part that kind of it's just, makes you want to think about it. Why is Berry dealing with Avstar Aviation? Mm-hmm. Now, that dot doesn't connect very well, okay? It does not at all. And I'm just going to, and listen, a lot of the things I'm going to say are very speculatory in nature, and take it for what it is. But I'm pretty good at connecting dots. I always like to work backwards when I'm doing certain things. The company puts out this huge news on December 12th. Also tells you that Asher is gone, and then they go quiet. Now, I find that extremely, extremely odd. So what I wanted to do is I'm like, okay, let me see what I can figure out here. I want to dig on Berry. That was my number one focus on what I did with that. All right, so basically you dig up Berry, and there's certain things that you can find where we know government contracts pretty damn good, right? I would say that we're probably there's probably not many stock radio shows out there that could even touch us on that because we're in the DoD in some cases. Mm-hmm. All right, well, check this out. Berry Aviation flies where few dare, right? It is bizjournals.com, right, puts out a January 13th, that was 2 days ago, and I haven't seen this anywhere, on 2012 at 5 p.m., right? Almost 30 years after Sonny Berry started a charter air service to subsidize his flight time in small 2-engine airplane, Berry Aviation can now be found around the world, setting up operations in remote locations, equipping and operating planes with surveillance equipment, and shuttling sports teams of rock stars, right? And then it talks about all the different company executives had even bigger plans for 2012, having recently issued $500,000 in preferred stock and taken on $19.1 million in debt. Transactions facilitated by Austin-based Focus Strategies Investment Banking. Berry Aviation plans to use the money to handle more government contracts, expand domestically, and take on private. Now, this is government legal transportation, right? So, those of you out there that do DD, you got to dig for this. And I'll drop it or whatever the case may be. All right, so now you got Berry. Huge assets, huge company, private company, right?
That's the key word.
Okay. Raising money, $19.1 million to get DoD contracts.
Not a small amount.
Okay, all right. So that's the second dot I'm going to give you. Here's the next one. All right? So now you go, okay, DoD contracts. All right? Now, what I like to use warrenbusiness.com. And basically what it gives you the annual revenue of different companies that they do business with and those type of things. So last year when you open up Barry, annual revenue was $19 million, 99 employees, and, you know, all the regular stuff, San Marcos and all that. Okay? So that pieces that together, right? So they're making huge amounts of money, and now they're going out to get more money, right? So that's the third dot. So let me give you one more. All right. So now you go to Business Week, which let's go with investing.businessweek.com, and it gives you a little heads up about Barry Aviation and everything with it, and it tells you about the 12/12 when that PR came out and the different history to it. All right, you guys following along with me?
Yep.
Okay. The next one, defense contracts. It's www.defense.gov/contracts. Now, when you do this, when you DD, and I'm just going to there's two key things you do. You DD numbers as a whole. Forget the names. Names, people change middle names, they change first names, they change senior, they change junior. You look for the full number, and you search for phone numbers. When you search the phone numbers, you're tied with a key term, like Barry Aviation, whatever the case may be. You're able to tie a whole bunch of things together and find what you're looking for. All right, in this case, I want to know about what they're doing with the DoD. So I find the contract. Okay, it's number 468-11, right? Slated for June 2nd, 2011. And it basically goes through all their contracts that they're actually happening on that day. Now, if you go all the way to the very bottom of the sheet of all the contracts that were signed that day, U.S. Transcom, if those of you don't know, is Scott Air Force Base in Illinois, right near St. Louis. Very huge base. It's like a center hub of transportation for the entire world. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me rephrase that. Transportation hub for the entire world. Period. Make no mistake on that. From a military aspect. All right? That's where they drive everything. As far as the computer systems that move things, whatever it may be. Okay. So Barry Aviation is being awarded $25,993,000 option year modification for fixed-wing aircraft, personnel, equipment, tools, material, maintenance, supervision, necessary to perform passenger and cargo air transportation service. Now, work will be performed in Afghanistan, right? All right, I'm beating on the floor there. Afghanistan, fifth dot. The option will start June 1st, 2011, to be completed by May 31st, 2012, right? And competitive acquisition, all that regular type of stuff. Now I'm going to give you a key number. Contract activity, HTC 711-10-D-R-018. If you search that number, you can find all kinds of crazy stuff that you couldn't even imagine. Okay, next dot. Okay, the next dot is when you have contracts and you have certain things that you're doing with the DoD, many OTC companies put out crap about DoDs. I mean, and you're sitting there, you're trying to figure this out. So I want to figure out how Avstar connects with Barry. That's my goal. I get the PR. I know the little stuff they tell us is a tip of an iceberg. And then what do you do when you have a major contract? If make $19 million a year, you're going out and getting funding for $19 million a year. That tells you that you're getting ready to blow up your company in a major way, whether it be acquisitions, expansions, growth, different sites, and all that other type of stuff, right? That's what normally happens. Okay, jsfirm.com. You guys ever hear of that? No. All right, jsfirm.com is basically a place where it's creating aviation opportunities is what it is. But it's a job. It's where you can go look where they put their listings for jobs. All right. Currently, as of today. All right. What I did is I looked up all the job requests that are happening for Barry Aviation, and there's two of them at Barry for the aviation at Kwajalein Atoll. Okay, that's Marshall Islands. All right, international, and then you also have one in Texas. Now you go a little bit further down for mechanics, aviation shop technicians. There's about, 40 jobs currently open right now that they're trying to get people hired for. Mechanics, technician this, dispatchers, aircraft inspectors, demand freight, the whole 9 yards. Here's the locations: San Diego, many in Afghanistan, many in San Marcos, some that are only labeled Oconus. Now, that means they don't want you to know the location of where that is, but it's outside the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's about 15 for Atul, which is the Marshall Islands. Now, why is that a big deal, you say? You're probably sitting there saying, Chris, it doesn't make much sense, right? All the way up until you try to figure out what the Marshall Islands Atul is, right? And then you go there, you basically, it was, World War II is an island that we took. Mm-hmm. Recently, over the course of the last year, the national security objectives and the national security strategies have focused everything on the fact that, hey, all the heightened stuff is going to happen in the Pacific. So they come out with this new thing only 4 days ago, and you can look it up. It's a new defense strategy, which, oh, by the way, a lot of different things have been moving in certain aspects when it comes to transportation and cargo. To do anything, you got to move cargo, you got to move freight. You guys following with what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
So now you go to the Republic of Marshall Islands. Now what I want to know is what they have going on from the aviation perspective. So I go there, air traffic control, I go to their different fields, and I want to know what type of aircraft are flying in there right now. Right? C-17s, U.S. Air Force, island hoppers, right? The Stargazers, the Boeing. Now you go down to the Air Marshall Islands D-228 island hoppers. So you have a whole bunch of expansion and stuff that's happening right now in the Marshall Islands. I don't know what that's all about. I have no idea. I'm just telling you that there's a lot more advanced operations that are actually happening here to where Barry is getting more of the piece of the pie. The previous year it was $14 million. Previous year it was less than that. So they had the way I'm connecting this dot, all right? I think, and this is just my opinion, I think that either Avstar was some type of mechanism tool to either buy them out and get their aircraft and all their different their mechanics and everything else, or and this is purely speculation, or I think Barry is going to go public. Now I know those are two outrageous comments, but I cannot possibly come up with any reason why Barry would want to do certain things with Avstar without taking the assets.
You think they want to do a spin-off reverse merger into AAVG? It's the only thing. It's the only thing when you connect all these pieces together. For those of you listening, I am speculating completely. So I'm not telling you to go out and buy, anything to do with this. All I know is I got a private company that makes a ton of money that is completely able to raise funds, right? Able to raise funds, raise $19 million, and is making $19 million and getting huge DoD contracts. What do they need Avstar for? So clearly, Avstar, the public vehicle, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Right, because in a nutshell, you got, like you said, Barry, multi-million-dollar company, working with a company that is barely, I don't want to say barely keeping afloat, but they're doing toxic financing to stay going.
Yeah, but here's the part of that, James. Where did that toxic financing that Avstar all that money they made from selling all those shares go?
It went into their acquisition.
Exactly.
So they're rolling in. So they're actually doing
which is part of this whole thing. If they're doing expansion, right? They want to find the tangible asset that they. I mean, you're talking all these routes that they have that are going all over the place, and something that they need the aircraft.
Right, and this opens up. And this opens up Avastar to actually, everybody's been focusing on two things with Avastar, which is really unique. And I've already months ago put this on. In fact, I've actually posted this. Everybody's been focusing on Bahama and Cuba. Okay, where is Barry located? They're in Texas, San Marcos, right? What is right off there? The whole Gulf of Mexico, where Avastar is currently not flying.
Right.
I'm thinking here in the future, you're going to start seeing, possibly now, like you said, this is speculation as well, but here we are, we're speculating. You got it right out of Texas, you got a hub that can start hitting all those ports right down there along the Gulf of Mexico, in Mexico, Cancun, and all those places where Avastar is currently not flying. That's another expansion that people are even failing to look at in this company. This is like a gem, essentially.
I'm looking at it from, I agree with you completely, but I'm looking at it from a slightly different angle. I'm looking at the heightened tension. I mean, the DOD is very slow moving in what they do. Now, you and I both know over the course of the last 2 years, all the different things that have been happening with the tie-ins between Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran, and all that other type of stuff, right? I mean, Ahmadinejad was just there, not even like last week, right, in Cuba and all this other type of stuff. And as you know, in anything you do with forces and those type of things where you're tracking all around, there's a whole contingency of VIPs, senators, everything you could possibly imagine, right? That's not in the center of what's going on, but they're flying around the different areas all over the place. There's something very strange about this whole thing, and when you connect all these dots together, there's clearly somebody getting ready to make some cash. There's no doubt in my mind in that.
Oh no, I agree. I agree with you 100%, and it's just a matter of it happening. And you're sitting on a company that is currently maxed out, and when it goes, it's going to go, and it's not going to stop. But it's just a matter of putting all the pieces together. I think still in this whole atmosphere, the whole Barry Aviation is still open to a lot of speculation, and there's no set direction yet where they're going. And I think, like you said, right after that December PR, the company went quiet.
Well, I can tell you this.
Just like in any other company that goes quiet, they sit for a couple months, they work all the deals out, and then wham, they're going to hit it. In future, I think you're going to see some heavy PRs coming from this company.
And that's it, I think, too. I mean, look, the CEO is a smart guy, all right? I mean, I think we can all attest to that. I mean, his name's not very uncommon. And, you're looking at the pieces of this, of how to be a formal company in a different piece of this, grabbing their piece of the pie in this sector, right? There's not millions and millions and millions of planes out there. And, normally the shortfall is the maintenance crews and the ability to fly one aircraft is what? Ratio is 30-1, if I remember correctly, 32, something like that. Supporting structure to be able to do all that, not, counting air traffic control, all that type of stuff. But this team, this board that they have here, has foreseen some things that are happening, and the whole thing with the islands of the Bahamas is and here's the part that I didn't really want to go into this, but since I kind of drove us here accidentally, is Andros Island, right? You know about Andros, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, Andros Island is, I don't know if it's called the tongue of the ocean, right? Now, at Andros Island you have something called Altec, right? It's where a lot of the UK, British ships, submarines, everything you could possibly imagine, especially from the world of ballistic missiles, goes there, does testing, does all kinds of crazy stuff to be able to ensure that ships are quiet. It's a range. You can shoot at each other with dummy weapons and all kinds of stuff. This whole area is nothing but absolute military, everything. So to be able to get the hops back and forth due to the amount of traffic that would be required for a lot of these things that I'm kind of speculating on, Avstar has a viable future. I mean, that's if this is the route they're going, and this is what they're actually going to be doing with these aircraft, and with the Berry connection, I don't see any other way. I mean, why put that December 12th PR out and then go quiet? I mean, it's just extremely odd, especially with the current events in the world. And I think that if you're going to drill down into Avstar, I think you drill down into Berry and find out what they're doing. Are they wanting to go public? Are they trying to raise more funds to get more aircraft? I mean, because you put the Berry assets inside Avstar, what do you got? A $5 stock? I mean, seriously. And I'm not being facetious.
You're pretty close.
Well, I mean, essentially, you have a company that has, at a minimum, $20 million in revenues a year, and I'm sure it's very net profitable at this point.
And I'm sure I'll get a call from somebody from Berry tomorrow saying, "Shut the hell up! You don't know what the hell you're talking about." And that may very well be true. However, they signed an agreement with Avstar that they have potential relationship that they're forming an alliance is the word they used, right? To serve the Florida Caribbean passenger and freight markets. So that's pretty much what I got. I like the stock. I like it from a short term and a long term. So that's my DD I got.
And I think you've pretty much covered almost everything imaginable on Berry.
to include the military, DOD, Stratcom.
Well, you got to remember though,
SEALs coming here soon.
Berry is also, they're all over the world too. So once this goes with whatever Avstar and Berry are working on behind the scenes currently, Berry is worldwide. I mean, you're almost essentially coming into like a small commuter hub with Avstar joining in. I'm curious to see what's next. I mean, this one here, if it's not on your watch list, it needs to be. If not already have some shares at this level.
Yeah. And the other piece to this, and I don't want to put this back. Don't forget Afghanistan, right? Berry's all over Afghanistan and going worldwide, and they're growing and they're multiplying big time. So, all right, let's go to the chart. Who's got that?
I thought you had it.
Top has it.
I got charts. I like charts. All right, so here I'm going to pull up the chart, see what we got here. I kind of speculated on this a little bit on what I was actually talking about, a little while ago. I'm going to pull it out. I want 3 months on this because I don't really care about when it drove up, and it looks like it, went to that top piece. Hold on one second. All right. I mean, here's what you're getting. You got a lot of volume. It bellied out and went sideways for a while, okay? Now you got a lot of volume in the whole January time frame, and then to where the volume increased, but a lot of buying, a lot of accumulating on the stock, to where you got that pop, and then it came back, to the 20, and then it channeled pretty good. It looks like it had the, 10 to 20 channel there for a little while, came back down, went up a second time, and it looks like, longs came to the rescue here, and there was no more dilution from Asher. And I would say that the dilution just recently stopped from Asher, if I had to sit there and go out on that. And I know the CEO put out that they're done with Asher, which makes sense because, the chart matches up to that. But then you had a lot of selling right at the second week, but it's not a lot of volume. I think the biggest that you had right here is right around the 6 million on January 9th. And that was all buying, and then some selling the next few days. So it looks like you had a whole bunch of flippers in here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it looks like. Probably about 10 million, probably maybe like 12. To where
there was definitely somebody holding it in the 18, 19, 20 range, and that was right about that time, I think, of the last PR. But at this point, I don't think anybody's going to hold it down. Once you broke through those 20s this last time, I think you're going to see an upside come here. I think the last time it peaked at, 29?
Yeah. Well, the overall trend's up right now, coming off that bottom anyway from that sideways channel. It's got an uptrend.
It's got an uptrend, and then accumulation distribution line is pretty much straight up over the last 6 months even. I know the share price, there was some dilution going on and stuff, but over the last, 2-3 months, share price is in a steady uptrend. Like you mentioned, it's been broken through that 002 wall several times now, so I don't even think that's a barrier at this point. And
did you say wild?
A key support line. Wild,
yeah.
No,
like wild. Yeah, beautiful. No, it's hey, I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
And let's you guys got anything else you want to add?
No, I was just curious why you brought up the Wild again, though, real quick. I mean,
Look, I'm not a big hockey fan, and I thought Minnesota North Stars still existed, and Haas is a big, huge Minnesota Wild fan, which I didn't even know what the Wild is. I thought it was a new team this year, and he proceeded to just beat the living crap out of me because it's not a new team this year. How many years they've been up there?
I agree.
How many years?
Several years.
Several.
All right. So all right. So
I don't know the exact number.
I'm not a very well-rounded sports guy, but I know my football and my college sports, but clearly not hockey. I apologize for that again. And every chance you guys get, you keep throwing the word Wild in there, and I get it. It's funny.
It's the first live apology that I've received, so I forgive it.
It doesn't mean today.
All right.
If for any reason you missed any portion of tonight's Stock Spotlight, it will be back on iHub, Stock Traders Talk, YouTube, approximately 9:30.
Beautiful.
Maybe earlier. Don't forget. What's that?
You know what we need to do, though?
What's that?
We need to call this company up.
Oh, yeah.
We get him on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to get him on the radio.
Yep.
See what he has to say about your speculation.
We will do our best to get that accomplished. Don't forget, tonight at 8 p.m., if you're a poker player, come join us at Stock Traders Talk Poker Club. To find out information on how to join us, go to the homepage of StockTradersTalk.com. On the right-hand side, you'll see a little banner. When you click on that, it will give you all the instructions on how to download the software and join us tonight at 8 p.m. Again, we do not collect emails. We host it through PokerStars.net, and they keep your emails. So, with that being said, tomorrow night's show, we are going to be spotlighting. Does anybody know what we'll be spotlighting tomorrow?
I hope it's not another A, because then we're going to have to hear your whole lecture of why you like A.
I don't know.
Double A.
Double A.
Double A is even better. Tomorrow is GMND. GMND. Tuesday night on the radio show, we will be interviewing Mr. James Scott of Shaka Shoes, ticker symbol SHKZ. SHKZ. That's Tuesday night. Okay, boys, let's see what we think about AAVG for Tuesday. I'm going to start with Haas.
Well, I really like the chart here, and just broke that 002 line. And with all the information that was provided tonight, I think there's going to be some pretty good speculation going on coming here early this week. So I'm going to give it a buy.
Giving it a buy for Tuesday.
You're closing at 22, huh?
Cop.
I mean, here's the thing. This thing was up there before, diluted. Clearly, the longs have battled the flippers, and looks like they have taken control of the stock. I'm going to go with a buy, and more so than that for the game. I'm going for a buy, but in the short term, more so in the long term, this is a good stock. We're gonna be talking about this stock again because I like what I found in this.
Okay, Nickel.
Well, I agree with both Haas and Kopp, on this one here. 0021, this is fourth time we broke through the 20 barriers on this one. I really believe this long term is going to be much higher at a good point. However, like you said, it is channeled, and it was. We've got 21s, 22s before, and there is a lot of great information on this company. However, I still think it's going to consolidate here for a little bit until the company starts talking again, because everything is just speculation. So I do possibly see a pullback here in the near future, just a small one, maybe 17, 18. So I'm going to have to really go on this one and say I'm probably going to go with both of them and go, this is a tough call, but I'm going to have to go with a sell on this one for Tuesday.
Sell for Tuesday.
Great information, there is. However, the company needs to come out a little bit more to persuade, I think, too much more on it.
Yeah, I think this is one of those rare ones where you say long, this is a good play.
Yeah, long, it's a great play.
Yeah.
But Tuesday, company's got to talk. Right now, we're speculating. I love it. I've been in this company for a long time. Look back on iHub, you'll see my name all over on the back on iHub. I love the company, but they do need to talk a little bit more. And I think until that happens, we're going to bounce. We're going to probably just get a new channel, but Tuesday is the sell for me.
Okay, and I am going to go with a buy for Tuesday, and hoping.
Was that a commercial?
I know that was not on my end at all. That was not on my end. Just a quick update. The score of the Giant game is 37.
That's exactly what that was.
Nichols' wife did not like his cell call.
Oh.
Is that what she was saying?
That's what she was saying. She said you should have said a buy. You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to change your answer to a buy. That's what she said.
Oh boy! All right, let me get through that. The current score of the Giant game is Giants 37.
Oh.
The Green Bay Packers 20.
Oh, wow!
With 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the ball.
No, unfortunately, Hosto, it was just a football update. I'm not going to change. I know there was a lot of great DD on this, but I'm going to be the oddball. I'm going to go on the limb here and say it's going to close up.
Hey man, short-term one-day picks.
They're tough. It's hit or miss.
Hit or miss. But long-term, I'm with you guys. I love this stock, especially after all the DD presented today. I haven't really looked too deep into this stock before today, but I'm definitely going to do so after we get off the show tonight and after I'm done playing hockey.
If for any reason you think we missed any portion of the DD on this company, you can call in to the show. The telephone number is 347-215-7181. We have about another 12 minutes to go, guys, in tonight's show. I am going to take a small commercial break because that was an awful long segment.
It was a good one, though.
Oh, it was very good. Very, very good. And we'll be back after these messages.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real Men of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Hot Stock Tip Giver-Outer.
Mr. Hot Stock Tip Giver-Outer.
Why go to professional analysts when we can get inside information from your brother-in-law's sister's fourth cousin's stepfather?
On your mother's side.
Sure, you may know absolutely nothing, but we know even less.
Big, big, big old dummy.
Your motto, buy low, sell low. Get other people to buy low and sell low.
Keep hope alive.
So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, oh titan of the tip. Although you're always wrong, you'll always be our Mr. Right.
Mr. Hot Stock Tip Giver-Outer.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
PennyChatterStocks.com, where our network becomes your game. There is no need for 6 or 7 sites to track your penny stock bugs. We've got chat, forums, blogs. You can integrate your Twitter, Facebook, Google+, MailChimp emailers all on one site so that your following comes with you. All it comes down to is the network, www.pennychatterstocks.com.
Stock Traders Talk Radio. I'm your host, STT. Joining me on the program tonight, I have Ka, Nickel, and Haas. Boys, you back with me?
Yep, back with you.
Yeah, we're here.
I would like to congratulate you guys on a great job tonight. I mean, that was very, very thorough, I should say.
That was very thorough.
I would say that was probably our longest BD session yet.
Yes.
And we probably could have kept going, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, I've been digging for many hours to find the stuff I found.
Oh, I'm sure.
Many hours.
I am sure of that. Okay. Now, shall we move on with the show?
Yeah, but I got something for you guys first. I need some help.
Okay.
I need some advice. You guys all have kids, so ever since my boys were little, right? I've told them there are the three most powerful things in the world, right? And they have repeated this statement back to me 1,000 times. So one's 9, one's 11 or 12 now. So what it is what are the three most powerful things in the world? Compound interest, Google, and women. And I explained to them why, and I made them read investment books when they were like super young, all kinds of stuff. So my wife comes and talks to me earlier today, and she says, "Look, we got to talk." And I'm like, "Okay, what's the problem?" She goes, "Joey, who's 9, made his bucket list." And I'm like, "What do you mean he made his bucket list?"
I have to hear this.
I'm interested.
And she goes, "Well, he wants to go to Oregon University and play football because he likes their uniforms. He wants to go to be drafted in the first round and go to the NFL and play in the NFL. However, he only wants to play for 11 years because he's afraid that due to all the different arguments that they're having with the them in unions and all the other stuff, he wants to make sure that he can retire and be on top and go into the investment society. But then it says he wants to be married at 30. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. So my wife sits down with me. She goes, "Do you think you're being a little too serious with the boys?" And I'm like, "No, what do you mean? I think everything's great." And so through this whole conversation, she basically wanted me to say, "Can they be boys?" And I'm like, "They're doing great. They're right on the right track." And and she goes, "Chris," she goes, "the last 3 years they've been learned in Mandarin Chinese." And I'm like, "But they don't even like it." And I'm like, "But they need it. When they get in the financial world, it's very important for them to be able to speak Chinese." So needless to say that I think they're going to stop Chinese. That's what I lost today because of a bucket list.
Wow.
Well,
nice.
What inspired him to make the bucket list?
You
I don't know.
Take your thumb off them. I mean, let them breathe.
Is that what's going on? You guys think I'm pushing them too hard?
It's pretty funny because my son is 10. He'll be 11 in a couple of weeks here. Now, he'll come out with these odd things. Like one day he came home from school. He's like, "Dad, I know what I want to be." I was like, "What's that, buddy?" I'm thinking professional football player, something like this. He's like, "I want to be a crossing guard." I'm like, "Wow, really?" But the next week it's something different. The kids' minds at that age they're everywhere. You never know what to expect. But to have goals like that at this age, honestly, I think that's great. hey, if you want to be a professional football player, the best thing you could do now is give them the tools to do that. Yeah, obviously the investment side of the house, I think you can cover that.
Oh, yeah, I think I've drilled it in their heads too far. But I just wanted to give you guys the heads up that a 9-year-old has a bucket list, and it's pretty thorough, and it's
some super professional resume.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. So
he sounds like a smart kid, is what he sounds like.
Oh no, oh man, they've never gotten a B. I guess that's
kind of how I was as a kid too. I was always the guy who ruined curves and stuff like that.
I mean, they don't even have their own hair right now. In my house, you get a high and tight, and when you're 18, your hair becomes yours. That's just the way I view it. I know I'm a little strict, but I mean, there's certain things. I actually did let him have a mohawk 2 summers ago, though. Wow. So I bend every once in a while.
Hey, my dad always told me if I got an earring, he'd rip it out of my ear.
No, it's good stuff. All right, well, I mean to derail your stock program there, STT.
That's all right. Let me tell you something, Mr. Cop. You better log into the poker tournament now because you have to download updated software. Did you get that?
No, I'm perfect. I'm all over it.
Okay, let's just do a little stocks and focus with 3 minutes left. Haas, what are you looking at this week?
Well, one that recently came across my attention on Friday, actually, and you might like this stock considering it starts with an A.
Oh, yeah.
Is American Medical Technologies Incorporated, ticker ADLI. Not a whole lot of volume, about $10,000 in buying volume, but up 114%. And it looks like they have a real nice share structure. And basically, they just filed an article of incorporation and some initial disclosure statements after being quiet for a little while. So, with that share structure and the hype with the recent filings, I think that one might be hyped a little bit this week. So it's one to keep an eye on, and especially if more filings are coming along. And the second one I wanted to mention, I also mentioned it last week, and it has been increasing in volume and share price. I think I mentioned that 90 cents or something after a really green 5 million volume day, is Stevia Corp, the sugar substitute company, ticker STEV. On Friday, it was up 82% on 8 million in buying volume, currently trading at $1.74. And there's been some promotion going on there, some hard mailers, things like that, for quite a while now, over the last several months. And now it's finally starting to heat up. So I'm kind of interested to see how high this one's going to go. And if we keep seeing some green days here and increasing volume.
Okay. Very good. Cop, you got anything you're looking at this week real quick?
I got tons of them, but I'm sharing mine for tomorrow night.
You going to say them for tomorrow night? Oh, yeah, that's right. We got to do a show tomorrow night. We're not even in play yet.
That's right. This is picks for Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning. Holy cow. All right. Join us again tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and all week, Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday shows are 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good day of doing nothing tomorrow, I guess, since the market's not open. And we will be back 8 p.m. tomorrow night. From us here to you there, have a good night, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.